So first thing first is you want to zoom out. As you can see, we are overall bearish, and what we want to do, we want to analyze from the recent price action. So therefore we're going to start from somewhere here. So now what exactly are we looking at? The first thing we want to look out for is a break of structure. So where exactly is our break of structure, and where should you anticipate a particular setup? All right, now this is very, very simple. We have this as a break of structure, which is right there. So we're going to name that a BOS. And after the break of structure, the next thing you are looking out for is going to be the inducement. Okay, an inducement is the valid pullback. All right, so in this case, we now have our inducement here. The reason is because the reason why we have our inducement here, it's quite simple. Okay, now let me show you something. We have this low confirmed, so we have a confirmed low here. Now the reason why this low is confirmed is simply because our inducement leg have been formed, right? So there is no confirmation until we first of all see our inducement. So this is our inducement right here. And also I also want you to understand that our break of structure, it's here, right? So it will shift from here to this zone, all right, because we now have a more like a new zone. So all of this is just a single leg, all right, except for that particular one. So we have this. The next thing we want to identify is where is our unmitigated zones, where is our unmitigated order block. So in this case, we're going to mark this area, all right, this one here. Okay, going to project it to the future. Okay, now another thing you must pay attention to is this. After you have been able to identify your your inducement sweep, you also want to check for where price. Automatically we're expecting that this low is taken, so we'll project that to the future. So this is a new break of structure, and this break of structure only came to being after our inducement leg. Okay, so in this case, let's project this forward, right? So now this is 1 hour time frame. If you want to take the trade, you just have to check a lower time frame for further confirmations. Okay, now we now have this as a break of structure. The next thing we want to identify will be our inducement. All right, remember, after every break of structure, you want to wait for inducement, because it is after the inducement leg you will be able to take your entries. All right, so in this case, we have a new zone here, a new level here, which is our inducement leg, which is here. All right, so let's put that on. We have our inducement right there. Okay, now after the inducement, what else? We have to mark our unmitigated order block or order flow, right? So this is our unmitigated order block, but as you can see, it failed right here. So what we'll do is we mark this as our change of character. So we now have this as a change of character. Okay, now after the change of character, what next are we looking at? We're looking at in our inducement leg. Okay, so where is our inducement leg? This is our inducement leg right there. So we have this zone as inducement. Okay, so in this case, what we need to do after inducement, right, we have to look for buy opportunities. Right now, this failed again, and this gives us our change of character. So this is a change of character right there, right? We have something like that. Now after the change of character, what else are we looking at? We are going to look for our inducement. And where's our inducement? This is our inducement right there. So I'm going to type this one, inducement. Okay, so after the inducement, we want to mark what? We want to mark our point of interest. Now first, we just have to start from the top. Okay, so this is our order flow. Okay, this is our order flow. You see, it has been mitigated. This order flow has been mitigated, and we now have this as what? As order flow. Okay, we have this as order flow. Now inside this order flow, we can mark the 50% of the order flow. All right, 50% of the order flow. So this is, all right, 50%, and that's exactly what we have right here. So if we project the 50%, it will be from here to this particular point, which is actually spot on. So we can, let me type this 50%. All right, so after the 50%, meaning the sell should also happen here from this zone. So let's take this out, all right, and make this a little bit pure. So we can also mark this candle. Okay, all right, because this candle swept liquidity, and it's more like a candle that is standing in between the order flow and the fair value gap. So same thing, if we also mark the 50% of that candle, we can also see that it produced a very nice setup. All right, so we'll pull that on, and that will be 50% right there. All right, so we'll have the 50% there, and take this out. So afterwards, what are we looking at? We now have what? Remember, all of these is valid swing points. Why are they valid swing points? This is a valid swing point. We have one here, and we have another one here. Remember, we have a valid swing point after the confirmation of inducement. So we have this as a valid swing point. Okay, and after the inducement, this was our entry. The next thing you want to look out for is the break of structure. So we have this as our break of structure. So this is a break of structure, and after break of structure, what next? Inducement, right? And where's our inducement? This is our inducement. Okay, we have this as our inducement. Now after the inducement, what are we looking at? We are looking out for unmitigated zones. All right, so in this case, the zones that we just have to start from the top. Okay, you see, let's say we have this as an order flow, for instance, of which is not that accurate. Okay, let's say we have this as our order flow, and we push this to the future. These are order flow. Okay, now inside the order flow, that is where you can as well find order blocks, right? So the next thing you want to do is, where is our unmitigated order block? This is the only order block which have not been mitigated, this one here. All right, based on this, we have this order block which have not been mitigated yet, and you can see it's quite simple, right? Now why is it? If you look at all of this, we can see that this candle mitigated the previous one. All right, this candle does not have any, so didn't sweep liquidity. Okay, this one mitigated the other one, this one mitigated this, and this one didn't mitigate this. Okay, this swept this other high, which means this our valid order block. And the next candle, which is this one, they don't mitigate this one, right? So that's why that's our valid order block. It's quite simple. So we project that to the future, and what do? This is it, right? And the next thing we want to pay attention to is where is price going. All right, you always want to have that in mind. Where is price going? What am I doing next? Okay, so usually this is the low that we're anticipating, right? So I'm going to mark this as a valid low, okay, which it is a valid low, and price comes, mitigated this zone, sold nicely, all right, but price failed to take out this low and decide to push high. Now immediately this happened. Now let me show you something. In this particular move, for this particular move, okay, I know all of these have been mitigated, but it is after price comes and take out this high that we can now look at this as what? As a change of character. Yeah, and in change of character we can use wick. So this is more like an equal high compared to it being a change of character. So I'm going to call that a sweep. So we're going to call that a sweep. Okay, so after that, where are we currently in price action? All right, we see this is a low, and what happened? Price comes, swept that particular low, and let's see if it's also swept this low. All right, we can see it that price swept that low as well. All right, so which means, so we're going to say this as a sweep. So we'll take this out. So this is where we are currently on price action on the 1 minute on the 1 hour time frame in particular. So what exactly are we expecting, and what should you expect? I know this is very, very confusing, right? But understand that overall trend is what is bearish. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is wise that you wait for an inducement. In this case, our inducement will have to be somewhere here. All right, you wait for inducement. Otherwise, if another inducement is formed, right, let's say it's formed, then you can take that as well as your inducement. Okay, so this is where we are currently on Euro USD. I hope that you are able to benefit from this brief Euro USD analysis. So do well to subscribe to the channel, and don't hesitate to like the video or drop a comment below. This will help this video to get to more people. Okay, so have a nice day. See you in the next video, and peace.